So basically this Q&A is just a list of questions that we get asked all the time on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, email, our blog, other people's blogs that we've written on just
the street.
anything on the street when we bump into people, which does happen.
On hiking trails in the middle of nowhere.
That also
we've
happens.
Met you guys.
So this is some questions I've got on my phone. Baby! So, question number 1.
And this is the biggest question we get asked on a daily basis. What's your insurance?
We have motorhome insurance provided by Comfort Insurance because our van is technically classed as a motorhome. It's not a van. This covers for more things than what normal standard car insurance would be, and it's perfect for going abroad and stuff because it also covers this in Europe, which is another question we get.
And we've never had a problem with Comfort. They've been great. And there's not much more to say really. They're a very good insurance company, and everything you need to know will be in the description below.
Number 2, get out my little notepad. How do you shower?
This always makes me laugh because I mean, I suppose if you're starting a trip or you're thinking about getting a van, you're not sure where you're going to clean, where you're going to wash. There's lots of different ways. You just get creative.
Let's do a list of all the ways we have showered or washed ourselves.
Yep.
Well, we washed ourselves in our sink here.
Yeah.
We've washed ourselves in rivers.
Yeah.
In lakes.
Yeah.
In the ocean.
Yeah.
Not the best in the ocean because you get salty.
Yeah.
We used to have a collapsible bucket. I washed in that outside the van.
That was actually really good.
That was very good. I don't know what we got a hole in it. We got fire in it.
But that was good because you could wash your hair in it, and it was great. Yeah.
We've washed ourselves in some public bathrooms if they're quiet and like they've got like a little individual thing with a sink and stuff. They can be very good.
Yeah.
Leisure centres are fantastic. You can pay like £1 and they will let you use their showers.
Yeah, you can even go for a swim as well if you like.
Yeah, it costs a little bit more. But
Some of them have jacuzzis. It's one of them things. There's many showers all around. We've even found showers. I think when we were on the way to Isle of Skye, there was like a public shower room or something.
There was that. There was also remember that tiny village in the middle of Portugal.
Yeah.
Just had a random shower.
Yeah, it's like a communal shower.
It was like toilets.
Obviously, you go
in
separately.
Yeah, and then there was showers. There was more than one shower.
Yeah.
And then there's like gas stations. Some of them randomly have showers.
Yeah, for like truck drivers and stuff.
Truck stops have showers. They're very good facilities.
Truck drivers are on the road 24/7, so they need places to wash as well. So
campsites, if you stay at campsites, we've never tried to go and just have a shower at a campsite, but I'm sure if you just ask, can we give you a couple of quid for a shower, they would let you. And then there's community centres. There's one on the Isle of Lewis.
Yeah.
By Stornoway.
That
had a fantastic community centre there. Also had washers and dryers, so we would shower and do our laundry. It was great. So that's how we shower. We don't have room, obviously, in our little van for that. We don't have a bathroom, but you really do learn you don't need to shower every day.
Yeah, it's really not one of your biggest concerns.
And
if you're thinking about getting a van and you're going to go travelling, don't worry
about
showering.
If you are very concerned, wet wipes are fabulous, and dry shampoo is great for extending your hair between washes.
Yeah, and if you want to shower every day, then van life's not for you. Sorry.
Or you get a van with a shower in.
Yeah, but even then, like, you're gonna go through so much water, and you can't shower every day on the road. It's not, unless you want to stay at campsites every night, then you're not going to be showering every day. But it's fine.
Some people do, and that's what they like. As long as you're happy, that's how we got around not having our own personal shower.
Yeah.
And leading on to bathroomy things is, where is your toilet, or how do you go to the toilet?
Well, when we did our van tour that we can link below, we showed where we keep our toilet. It's just a little cupboard in our van, and
we'll put a link to our van tour in here so you can see.
It's just a little porta potty, and we slide it out. We go to the toilet and do your stuff in there, and then you can empty it at different emptying points along.
I mean, the porta potty was really the make or break for me on this trip, because before we had this van, we had a Citroen Berlingo that Theo converted himself. As you can imagine, it was very cramped, and there was nowhere to go to the toilet in there. It was hard to crouch over a bottle, let me tell you. So when we got another van and we were going to actually, live in it full time, I had to have somewhere where I could go to the toilet. It's so much harder for a girl to just nip outside and try and do a wee incognito than it is for a man.
Yeah.
So having the porta potty made such a difference. I mean, pretty much a lot of places where we were, if we were in the wilderness, you could just go outside because there's no one there. But if you're in an area where there's loads of people, it's hard.
We've got the smallest porta potty I think you can get, which is great because it tucks away out the way.
Yeah.
But then when we were in places like Romania, like where there's not as many emptying points and stuff like that, and we're in the middle of nowhere in the mountains, you know, you've got forests and stuff like that where you can go to the toilet. It's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
So you just get used to it and you adapt to your surroundings.
You do. Next question: how much did you pay for the van?
So the van was £12,500.
Yes.
And that was fully converted into a brand new camper van conversion.
Yeah.
With everything we needed, ready to go, and it was by a company called Middlesex Motor Caravans, and they're based in London, so we'll link them below as well. You can go and check them out, but we're really happy with it after having it for like over 2 years now. It's been amazing. It's never let us down.
It'll be 3 years in March since we got her.
Really?
She's been such a fabulous van. I mean, for VWs generally are pretty excellent.
Yeah.
She'd done 80,000 miles when we got her. She'd belonged to a carpenter before we had her.
No, it was a carpet fitter.
Sorry, yeah, carpet fitter.
That's why we've got the long wheelbase, because he could put his carpets in the back.
And they gutted it. They did everything, so it was really fabulous to we saw her and we were just like, this is the one. She was actually
fell
the
in
first.
love instantly,
Yeah, she was
like,
the first
literally.
van we came to look around, and we were just like, she's the one.
And we got an AA person to come around, and we paid for them to have a look at it and give us a report.
Yeah, because
he literally said to me on the phone, he said, you know, you'd be silly basically not to get this van. It's the best condition van of this age I've ever seen. So
yeah, because we were obviously pretty much heading out to Europe not long after we got her, and neither of us are like mega mechanical. Yeah, we can change tyres and do the basic stuff that you need, but we didn't want something that was going to be breaking down in the middle of nowhere when we were in Norway. So we made sure we got the best van that we could within our budget. After selling all our possessions pretty much, we've also had 3 cars between us. So yeah, that's how we managed to get
finance,
our van. And finance her. And obviously savings.
So yeah, we bought the van cash, and that's the best way really. If you're going to go travelling, if you can buy it cash, do that, because you want to really get your monthly outgoings to the bare minimum, so you've got nothing really going out.
That's true. And talking about monthly outgoings, we do have a budgeting video that might be useful for you. We'll put a link to that in the description as well.
It's been really well received, that video, as well, so go and check that out.
Next question: isn't wild camping illegal? Yeah,
so,
it is.
Yeah, wild camping, it's such a grey area. I mean, I don't even think wild camping as such is even to do with vans. It's more to do with being in a tent. So in the UK, wild camping in a tent is illegal, but you know, if you're in the middle of nowhere, no one's going to bother you. In Scotland it's fine, I think, if you're like 100 metres away from the road maybe. So I think you're alright to camp there. But in a van, we've never had a problem. No one's ever came and knocked on the door really and said, you know, you can't park here. We've had the police a couple of times, but
the most notable one was...
But that was to do with big political events.
Nothing to do with us. There was the G8 summit happening like the next day in this town in Germany, and they were just a bit suspicious and said, can you move? And it was the morning and we'd already packed up and we were like, yeah, we're leaving anyway. So that's literally it. Like, we've never ever... We're respectful of where we are, though.
Yeah.
We don't pull up somewhere and like get the awning out and start a barbecue at the side of the road. Like, that would just, you know, that would annoy people, because it makes, like, I would feel uncomfortable parking somewhere where someone pretty much is living, because I'd feel like I'm encroaching on their space. So if we're somewhere quite public, we'll stay quite within ourselves.
And to do with that, people always ask us, have you had any people kind of knock on the van in the night or come up to the van in the night? But like, would you do that? Would you go up to a random van and knock on it?
You don't know who's in there.
You know,
Could
you
be
probably
mental.
wouldn't. So yeah, you're just not going to do that. So the majority of the time, everyone's very friendly, and you know, you just keep yourself to yourself. unless you're in Portugal and you know there's loads of other vans and it's obviously okay to park there, that can be quite nice because you can talk to the other people in the other vans.
And there can be a sense of safety in numbers as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things. I think actually what would be good is I'd like to do a video on some of our craziest nighttime things that we've had experienced in the van, because a lot of that it's just like, oh, remember when this happened or remember when that happened. So yeah, I think that'd be funny.
Like, one thing to note is we've never felt unsafe once on the road.
Because whenever we've got somewhere, if one of us doesn't like the air, it just feels a bit,
always trust your gut feeling. If you don't feel right, move on. It's not worth it.
Yeah, that's what we've always done.
Cool.
Yeah.
Next question.
Where are you now? Where are you now?
So we have a base now. As we said before, I think in the last video, we brought a narrow boat. We live on that, and then we use the van now to go off on adventures and separate different adventures. If we've got an idea or we just want to go away for a couple of weeks or the weekend, then we head out in the van. It's a lot easier and freer in the van. The narrow boat takes a long time to get anywhere. It's very slow. But yeah, we will be travelling in the boat as well. We just got to wait for the right weather. Obviously in the winter now we are
moored up because it's freezing every single night. We're frozen in.
So yeah, like the narrow boat community, a lot of people kind of moor up for the winter. I mean, only this morning the canal was completely frozen over,
and it had snowed, so it was frozen and snowy, the canal,
so you can't go anywhere. So we hopped in the van and we went on a little adventure today. So yeah, it's been good. And that's about it, really.
Basically. We're still everywhere.
Yeah. But we've got a base now.
Yeah,
it's nice to have a little base.
Where have you been? Yes, we get people asking, what countries have you been to? Oh my god, I always forget one place where I've been. I know we've been to at least 23 countries.
In Europe.
Let's do a list. I'm going to do it from the way we travelled. France, Belgium, Holland, Germany, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Finland, Sweden, again, then back into Germany, then we dipped into Austria, then we went through Switzerland, then France again, south of France. We went through Andorra, then Spain.
Italy.
Not yet, I'm doing the list that we did it in. Spain, then we left Spain because we got broken into. Went back to the UK to get the van fixed, came back into Spain, but then we went through Portugal the second time, dipped into Gibraltar, straight out back through Spain again, through Italy, before Italy, Monaco, and then Italy. All the way down through Italy, ferry over to Greece, then Bulgaria, then Romania, then Hungary, Croatia, Slovenia, Austria, Slovenia. We collected Robin. And then we drove back through Germany and France and back to the UK.
Europe is such an amazing place to travel in a van. Like,
fabulous.
If you're thinking about it, stop thinking and go and do it. Because you will have the most amazing time of your life. I can guarantee that. And
you don't need a van. You actually don't. Like, we did Lofoten Islands in northern Norway in a car in the summer, and that was perfectly fine in a tent. So you don't have, if you can't afford a van or you don't want a van, you don't have to use a van. You can get around on a train, on a bike, on a motorbike, in a car, in a van.
And if you're not sure about the van life, then we just proved in our Portugal webisodes that, you know, you can hire a van and go away for 10 days and figure out if you like it or not. There's endless possibilities.
I think a country like Portugal, where we went to and hired the van out and stayed in the van there, was really good because there's loads, all the beaches there, everyone's allowed to stay there in their vans, so it's not as scary. Yeah, it's like a good practice run because you can see whether you like it. Some people find it incredibly stressful and prefer to just stay in campsites, and that's fine. But if you want to do like van life, I don't know of anyone that'd be able to afford to like stay in campsites all the time. So going somewhere like Portugal where there's a community there already, it's such a good place to try it out that you can rent a van. It's another good way of doing it.
And if you've got any questions that we've not answered and you want to ask us, just leave them in the comments below. Let us know what you think. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, please subscribe, and yeah, we'll do a Q&A part 2 when we've got enough questions. Thanks for watching.